right, let's see if I can remember all these questions.
Very good.
I don't do, you said you got some like circus ring shooting thing? We got that too. I don't do interviews, I just shoot things pretty good. No, but what's up, guys? Tactiholics here from the NRA Carry Guard Expo 2017 here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We bumped into Colion Noir. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man. How are you?
It's not bad, not bad. It's a pleasure to meet you, dude. I've been a fan of your channel for a long time, and I'm sure most of you, or probably all of you guys that are watching our show, are familiar with Colion. We're going to put heavy links down below to what you're doing, because you're not only a huge advocate of the Second Amendment, but also safe handling of guns and training and proper education of firearms. So I just got some kind of gun-related questions for you, man.
Okay.
What got you into shooting?
Best friend.
Okay.
Literally best friend one day was like, hey, I'm going shooting. You want to come? Out of nowhere. And initially my thought was no. I'm not going to shoot anything. And a part of me, second part of my brain kicked in and was like, well, why not? So I was like, all right, I'll do it. Went to the range, and it sounds so cliche, but it literally was love at the second shot.
Second shot.
Second shot. Well, because the first shot was like, holy crap, what was that?
Right.
The second shot was like, I like this. And then it was just pretty much off to the races.
Awesome. What did you find in your shooting career up to this point? What was the biggest obstacle that you had to overcome, or the biggest challenge that you had, whether it was between your ears or trying to learn a certain new skill, or what was the hardest thing you had to overcome? That's a good question. Very good question.
You know, it's a lot of my passion blinded me from the kind of self-doubt that I think most other people would probably deal with. I was so in love with it so quickly. I didn't think about it. Like, I remember my friend telling me, it's like, what are you doing? No one's going to accept this. You know, and I remember saying, I don't really so I don't know. But, you know, for me, I think, was understanding that I was putting myself in the forefront. I'm putting myself out there. And I'm actually largely naturally recluse. So for me, being up front that way, it was different.
Sure.
And then also the exposure and exposing myself in a way that I'd never done before. So now when I have to deal with a certain website putting out personal information that I would rather remain concealed for safety reasons, you know, things like that, and not understanding how what I do can affect other people who never intended to be a part of this to begin with.
Sure.
And then also understanding and being able to take in people's perception, judgments, critiques, all of those things unsolicited, and being able to take those in and then make it positive and use it in the best way possible instead of allowing it to be destructive.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I can't imagine on your scale. I mean, even on the scale that we're functioning with here, it's, you know, trying to get over that criticism that's not constructive and just turn it into a fuel and a drive, and even take away and learn from it too, and have the humility and the introspectiveness to really kind of consider, is there something I could be doing better, even though it's not posed to me in the best way.
Absolutely.
Totally, I feel you there.
Part of two, another thing too is this never fully believing your own hype.
Sure.
You know, it's when people are, the same way people can critique you and that can be destructive, the same way when people are praising you, just being able to keep your head about yourself.
Right.
You know, and understanding you don't know everything. Even though some people might think you do, you don't.
Right.
And then staying on top of it. So I kind of put a lot of pressure in myself in making sure that I learn things that I need to know. You know what I mean? So I don't let certain people down.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So you've done a lot of different veins of shooting. You know, obviously you're heavy into handguns and ARs and stuff like that. You've done some precision rifle stuff that we've seen. What is your favorite genre of shooting?
Man, I'm still I love going through ARs. I am an AR guy, the highest order. And I used to be a handgun guy. For whatever reason, I've glommed onto the AR. Like, I think I own probably as many ARs as I do handguns. Seriously. And I'll be the first to tell you that the level of redundancy in ARs is through the roof.
Right.
But for whatever reason, they still appeal to me. It's like, so now I'm at a point where I can see subtle things in ARs that speak to me that I like. That to someone else is like, it's just another AR. It's not a big of a deal.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I like the AR aspect, and maybe because I think ARs kind of function the same way my brain does.
Sure.
You know, if I want to go out and just kind of shoot and blink and just kind of go all crazy, I can do that.
Right.
You know, if I want to sit down and take my time, I can. So it's kind of all over the place, but then you can really dial it in and focus it if you want. And I just love the variety in the platform and the way that I can use it. If I want to use close quarters, I can. If I want to stretch it out, I can if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
So I'm really kind of limitless in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll try to put a noir spin on this for you guys. This might be a tough question to answer, like harder question than at least when I was in high school picking your favorite Britney Spears song. But what's your favorite AR-15 that you own from your stockpile?
Wow. Oh man. So what I'm doing right now, I'm going to walk you through the process of getting here, if I can actually get there. What I'm doing right now is trying not to be not trying to be overshadowed by the guns I've recently been shooting and thinking those are the guns that are my favorite.
Sure.
Ironically, it's going to sound, what I'm about to say is not going to make any sense. I love my HK Airmark 5.56. I never shoot it because it's too heavy.
Okay.
Dead serious. However, when I do shoot it, I enjoy it. I love it to death, right?
Yeah.
I take courses, I take classes that I actually want to go to and use it. But I'm smart. I'm smart enough to know that, what do they say? They say ounces equal pounds.
Right.
You know, so from that perspective, it's going to destroy my experience because it's going to be too heavy.
Right.
So, but when I do shoot it, it's something that I absolutely love shooting. I just don't shoot it very often. So it largely stays in the safe.
Any advice for people new to shoot, getting into the game? What words do you have for them?
Don't be intimidated. So right now, especially with social media, things like Instagram, people developing their own brands, things of that nature, you're seeing a ton of skill set being displayed on one platform, and a lot of people are taking in their idea of the gun world or getting into shooting based on these platforms. And a lot of these people look amazing, you know. Don't allow yourself to be intimidated to the point where you're a non-starter.
Right.
I'd say just dive into it, and then just be patient. It'll start to come. Because I know some people who get really frustrated. It's like, oh, I'm not where I want to be, shooting-wise, so forth and so on. And I'm like, just enjoy the journey.
Right.
Because there's more than enough time. The one thing you don't want to do is to go so fast that you hit a point where nothing excites you. That's what you don't want to do. I still want to always be desiring the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And so I have to constantly be on guard. Because being in my position, you know, I have access to a lot of guns. What I don't want to lose is that organic enjoyment that I get from the way I felt when I bought my first gun, but my fourth gun, to like now my 50th or 70th gun that I have.
Right.
I still want to be able to feel that sense of excitement every single time. So, and the one thing, and then hitting the point where you don't, I think is going to be something that's going to be a little overwhelming. Like don't rush to the finish line.
Sure.
Just enjoy that journey.
Yeah. Savor the moments. Take everything in. Enjoy
you know
everything. Every step of the journey, basically.
Did you know her?
I have no idea who she is.
I didn't.
I think she's a fan of, probably a fan of mine. And then the last question, this is totally unscripted, but how long did it take you to develop this like eloquent, majestic way of speaking? Because I don't know how you do it, man. Your pop culture references make me have to get on Google. I don't know how you stay up on this stuff, but you have this like very soothing persona, and yet it's still like hard-hitting with the facts, with the important stuff. Is that something that you've always kind of done, or did you?
A lot of it was due to, it was kind of honing things. So I always tell people this, my group of friends that I grew up with when I was younger, they're assholes.
Okay.
Like certified assholes. I don't even know why they're friends. So we would spend hours on hours upon hours just arguing about the most mundane, nonsensical things, right? So I kind of honed that ability with them. Especially when you have friends who don't really know what they're talking about, but their comedic ability is amazing.
Right.
So they can distract everybody by making jokes. So I honed it in that regard. Then through law school is when I started to understand how to craft and tailor an argument and kind of put things together in a certain way. And in law school, I did a mock trial competition. I was in the mock trial program where I had a coach who would tell me, don't talk at or over people, speak to them in a way that they can understand. So that's where I kind of started honing a balance and ability to kind of, I don't want to say dumb things down, because it's not necessarily dumbing things down. It's stating things in such a way that it speaks to you.
Right.
You know? And then a part of it too is just the motivation behind, especially with, say, for instance, the gun reviews and things like that. I know that how much passion I have for it, so when I'm shooting and I'm out there at the range, I'm experiencing something emotionally. I want to be able to communicate that and what about that gun is doing that. So I kind of try to challenge myself in a way where I can try to communicate something that's not actually tangible.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Above and beyond stats and numbers and things of that nature. So I think me challenging myself kind of brings out, I guess, what's the best of me in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it makes it approachable. It makes it relatable for people outside the gun world, and it makes you very, very non-assuming. You know, you're not on a platform. I mean, I walked right up to the guy today and just said, "Hey, man," probably did some. Actually, I insulted his height, so that was a good start to the day. But no, you're just a regular guy with outstanding information. So I really appreciate your time in doing this interview, man. Guys, again, I'm sure you're probably already familiar with Colion Noir. If you're not, we will have links all the way down below. I really thank you for your time, man.
Absolutely, man.
Have a good rest of the show.
Absolutely.
We'll see you soon. We never quit.
Inside is something that's real. I rock a box with a sturdy diesel. Got a MasterCard and a Visa. My art is like Mona Lisa, so hard that I lost my keister. With love from my friends.